22 is the code man, Cody Jayberg. The 33 is Albert Francis. And the 21 of Gage Jayberg. Getting ready to come to green. Green flag is in the air. A member of DLP Commercial Maintenance Systems gives the green flag. Matt Gribble to the race lead. Here comes Tedesco to the inside of Snyder in turn number 3. Ryan Tedesco on the march to second. Gribble, still your race leader. Here comes Tedesco now to the outside of Gribble, down the back straightaway. Ryan Tedesco deep into turn number 3. Gonna take over the race lead. Ryan Tedesco, your leader. Gribble trying to hang on to that second spot. Stankiewicz to the outside of the 45. Big wad of cars behind Tedesco. Gribble, Stankiewicz, Bryant Smith, Snyder, and Rosenberry. Caution on the speedway for the 33 in turn 4. And Tedesco will choose the outside lane. 45 goes inside, 42 and 1 go to the outside, and the 17 and Bob the Animal Eichel in animal fashion takes over the cone for driver choose your lane. Five laps in, 25 to go. Gribble, Tedesco. Green flag is in the air. Tedesco around the outside. He's going to clear the 45 into turn number 3. Still going to give him the bottom lane. And now Bryant Smith and Rosenberry spin in turn number 3. So Gribble chooses the inside lane, Tedesco the outside, Snyder the inside, Stankiewicz the outside. And Dave Martin will pick up a couple spots. He'll go to the outside of Rosenberry. To go, we'll try it again. The 45 of Matt Gribble, the 701 of Ryan Tedesco. Green flag back in the air. Tedesco on the outside, Gribble on the bottom. Tedesco going to pull back in front. Ryan Tedesco back to the race lead. Rosenberry up to the 4th spot. Stankiewicz and Gribble get together in turn number 4. And now Gribble going to spin out off of turn number 2 just as Alex Rosenberry moved up to the 2nd spot. Caution on the speedway. Okay, we'll give him the cone this time as we got Snyder lined back up. Tedesco chooses the bottom, Rosenberry chooses the top. Stankiewicz and Snyder both choose the bottom. Bryant Smith chooses the top. So Ryan Tedesco chooses the bottom, Rosenberry to the top. Then Stankiewicz and get the green. This time around, 8 laps complete. Green flag is in the air. Tedesco wiggled off of turn number 4, and it's going to cost him the race lead. Alex Rosenberry to the race lead on the outside. Rosenberry, Ryan Tedesco, Bryant Smith, Tom Stankiewicz, Bob Snyder, Matt Gribble, Cody Jaybird. Rosenberry continues to lead. Ryan Tedesco right there in second. They got a couple car lengths on Bryant Smith and Tom Stankiewicz in third and fourth. Halfway home, Rosenberry and Tedesco. Gage Jaybird to the pits in the 21. Your leaders in lap traffic. Rosenberry gets through. To go, Alex Rosenberry, your race leader. Ryan Tedesco right there in second, about a half a straightaway back to Bryant Smith, and then a couple car lengths back to Tom Stankiewicz. Tedesco all over that number 2 of Alex Rosenberry. Both those machines absolutely glued right now. length lead over Ryan Tedesco. They've got a half a straightaway lead over Brian Smith and Tom Stankiewicz in third and fourth. White flag for Alex Rosenberry. Rosenberry in traffic into turn number 3. Tedesco tries to close. Not going to do it. Your winner, Alex Rosenberry. Ryan Tedesco finishes second. Bryant Smith third. Tom Stankiewicz fourth. And Bob Snyder Jr. in fifth. Okay, if you've got Alex Rosenberry's Frisbee, late model number 2, Alex Rosenberry, if you have his Frisbee, come to the flag stand right now. In the Rosenberry Towing Flight Test, DLP Commercial Maintenance System sponsored number 2. Alex Rosenberry. All right, young man. Come on over here.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great.
All right, tired? Come on, man.
I had to work for that one. There was no luck there.
I'll tell you what. First of all, was you as surprised as I was to see Ryan Tedesco choose the bottom?
No, because I knew I would have done the same thing if he was on the outside of me. I would have kept him out there because usually if you're on the inside, you can kind of control, but I knew I had to beat him to turn 1 there in their restart, and we did a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, he did chirp him a little bit off of 4. You could hear him. I think he got him. He was trying to get in it. But I'll tell you what, this car was bolted all night long, and you had your work cut out for you. He was all over you there for a couple laps, especially getting through traffic. I mean, he did a whale of a job.
Yeah, I had to work my butt off for that one, but I thought we were done here when I thought I got into him with the left rear. I thought we were going to cut a tire down. I felt it rubbing. I don't know if it was smoking at all. But we had the Rosenberry Towing Flight Test. We had DLP Commercial Maintenance come on board tonight. Nice to get the win for them. Car was great all night. I had to work for it, though. Ryan was right there on the tail. There towards the end, I don't know what those lap cars were doing. I didn't know you had to go on the rumble strips to pass lap cars, but whatever. We'll work on that for next week.
Congratulations, man. Nice to see you back at Victory Lane.
Thanks.
Alex Rosenberry, your winner in the late model division. Again, Flight Test, Rosenberry Towing, and of course on DLP night, DLP gets to be in Victory Lane with Alex Rosenberry. Six of Tim Frederick, getting ready to go green 12 laps. Make sure you guys are back from the fence on the front strip. Hopefully you got your Frisbees out and ready. Aubil and Scott, green flag in the air. Bill Aubil on the bottom, Tim Scott up the racetrack. Aubil going to have the race lead off of turn number 2. Here comes Rich Schweitzer up to the second spot. Aubil leads in turn number 3 and 4. And Bill Aubil will lead lap number 1. Schweitzer looking to the outside. Aubil with the race lead. 2 laps complete, 10 to go. Schweitzer looking to the outside of the 2T machine in turn number 1. Off turn number 2. Schweitzer is there. Schweitzer and Aubil side by side, longtime veterans. Off of turn number 4, Rich Schweitzer to the race lead. Schweitzer undefeated in features so far in 2017, looking to pick up his third win in a row. Bill Avil giving Barney Gerber's 2T ride a nice run in that second spot. Colt Locker in third. Good battle for second behind Schweitzer in the race lead as Colt Locker now to the outside of Avil for the second spot. Avil holding off Locker for now. 8 laps complete, 4 to go. Avil still hanging on to that second spot in front of Colt Locker. You put Avil in a downhill derby car and I'd watch him. He'd still drive the wheels off of that thing as he is in the second spot behind the 84 Schweitzer. Good battle for fourth between Michael Varnes and Tim Scott. As Varnes moves up to the fourth spot, Scott back to fifth. White flag for Rick Schweitzer. Avil hanging on to that second spot as Locker trying to the inside. And off turn number 4, 3 in a row for Rick Schweitzer. Bill Avil finishes second. Colt Locker third. Michael Varnes will finish fourth. Tim Scott in fifth. Nobody has Rich Schweitzer's Frisbee. Okay, looks like they're coming. All right, he's got the Frisbee right there. Henny Allen's Muffler. Van Meter Auto Repair, Federated Auto Parts, Alicia Manley MD, sponsored number 84 for the third time in a row with the little top hat on the door. The Bud Middaugh top hat.
There you go.
In the Bud Middaugh paint scheme. Doing like Bud Middaugh used to do and win 3 in a row. Frisbee winner in Victory Lane. What's your name, buddy?
Tripton.
All right. Tripton in Victory Lane. He's got the Frisbee. Going to greet Rich Schweitzer when he climbs out. Here is your winner 3 weeks in a row, Rich Schweitzer. All right, Tripton in Victory Lane with Rich Schweitzer. Going to put him up on the back of the truck. Cool. All right. Let's get this little interview done so you can celebrate with the young man. New Rich Schweitzer fan.
I hope so.
Absolutely. Man, I'll tell you what, this thing's been bolted all year. 3 in a row. You gonna let somebody else win?
I ain't letting them. They're going to earn it.
Ah.
It's really good for the fans, but you got to earn it. I've been racing too long to give stuff away.
Absolutely. You and Avil had a pretty good run. He had a pretty good run in that 2T truck.
It's fun for a while racing dice and old Bill.
Yeah, you know, the 2 wily veterans out there. I'd watch you guys race soapbox derby cars.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I would. Who you want to thank on this 84?
Kevin, he does the setups, get her going. Van Meter, nice sponsor. Alan, all the family. It's just, we're here having fun.
Congratulations, man. 3 in a row.
Thank you.
Your winner, Rich Schweitzer with Tripton in Victory Lane. Jason Neely saves the trophy. The Frisbee winner in Victory Lane with Rich Schweitzer. We still got one more Frisbee winner coming up in our second compact feature. So he not only comes away with a Frisbee, but he gets a trophy in Victory Lane too. Pretty cool. New Rich Schweitzer fan right there in Tripton. And that is what Frisbee race is all about. Ryan Schreffler, and the 30 of Corey Heron in row number 3, the 0 of Alan Clark, the 17 of Bobby Gaynor, the 40 of Little Animal Tyler Eichel, and the 3 of Jesse Patterson. Green flag. Corey Heron trying to thread the needle 3 wide in turn number 1. He's going to make it work. He's going to do 3 wide twice. And Alex Stresky battling back on the bottom. 3 wide for the race lead, turn 3. Alex Stresky on the bottom, Corey Heron up through the middle, and Heron's going to take over the race lead. Heron now has the 21 of Stresky cleared. Corey Heron to the bottom, your race leader. Alex Stresky in second, Lisa Moore in third. Here comes Alan Clark to the outside of Lisa Moore as Little Animal Tyler Eichel gets sideways in turn number 4. Alan Clark to the outside for second. Caution on the speedway for the number 21A of Alex Stresky. Ran 2 laps under his qualifying time. And Espenscheid, Gibson, and Stresky going to choose their lane. Heron chooses the inside, Clark the outside, Lisa Moore the inside, Little Animal to the outside. The 99 of Schreffler, the 3 of Patterson both chose the outside. That allows the 17 of Gaynor to gain a couple spots, no pun intended, as he moves up to the inside of row number 3. Coming to green, Corey Heron, your race leader. Alan Clark second. 4 laps complete. Corey Heron, Alan Clark, side by side for the race lead. Little Animal trying to creep his way up in there. 3 wide through 3 and 4 as Schreffler tries the high side. And Alan Clark will lead at the line. Caution in turn number 2. The 4E of Little Animal and the 83 of Gibson get together in turn number 2. Alan Clark, Jesse Patterson on the front row. The 30 of Corey Heron and Ryan Schreffler, row 2. Lisa Moore, Bobby Gaynor, row 3. Alex Stresky, and the 41 of Scott Espenscheid. And we are green with 10 to go. Alan Clark with the race lead off of turn number 2 and into turn number 3. Patterson way up the racetrack trying to battle back in that second spot. Alan Clark going to be your race leader at the line. Jesse Patterson to the outside of Clark. And the 3 going to lead that lap. Jesse Patterson to the lead. Alan Clark trying to battle back on the bottom. Corey Heron runs 3rd. Ryan Schreffler 4th. Caution on lap number 9. Good news for Jesse Patterson as he went faster than he did when he broke out of his time in the heat race. Bad. So they'll choose their lane again. 8 laps complete. Alan Clark. Betchy chooses the bottom. Corey Herron going to choose the top. Ryan Schreffler the bottom. Lisa Moore the bottom. Bobby Gaynor chooses the outside at the last minute. He'll move up a couple spots. So 8 laps in, 7 to go. Right at the halfway point, Alan Clark, your leader. Corey Herron second. Ryan Schreffler third. Bobby Gaynor fourth. Green flag back in the air. Jesse Patterson immediately 3 wide to the outside. And he's on the move. Alan Clark, your race leader. Alan Clark continues to lead. Corey Herron in second. Here comes Ryan Schreffler for the second spot. Patterson from the back of the pack up to fourth. The bottom. Corey Herron going to choose the bottom. Ryan Schreffler going to choose the top. Lisa Moore the bottom. Bobby Gaynor chooses the top. So 11 laps complete, 4 to go. Alan Clark, Ryan Schreffler, Corey Herron, and Bobby Gaynor. Off turn number 4, looking for Chief Starter Terry Coletti's green flag, and it's in the air. Alan Clark out to the race lead. Ryan Schreffler second. Corey Herron in third. Herron battles back on the bottom. Him and Schreffler battle for second behind Alan Clark. 2 laps to go. Patterson from the back of the pack up to the 5th spot as he goes to the outside of Lisa Moore. Now right up the back bumper, the 99 of Schreffler. White flag for Alan Clark. Patterson way up the racetrack. Still a good battle for second behind Alan Clark. Alan Clark going to pick up his first career feature win. Alan Clark, Corey Herron, Ryan Schreffler, Lisa Moore, and Bobby Gaynor. Actually, Jesse Patterson, sponsored number 0. I don't know who's happier, Dan Bucky or Alan Clark. Alan's so happy he can't even get his helmet off. Getting ready to climb out, got the Frisbee winner in victory lane. Here's your winner, Alan Clark. Wow, you'd have thought he just won $1 million. Hug from Waylon Orr. Man, I'll give you a hug too. What the heck? Congratulations, buddy. Okay. All right. Giving a kiss to his dad.
Yes.
Upstairs. I'm sure Dad is smiling proud.
I'm sure. I think Dad was in the car with me, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you what, this driver change your lane night really changes things up. You had a lot of battles from Corey Herron, another second generation driver, and you know, that was a good fight you guys had.
Oh, thank you. I tell you, I really love running with Corey. Corey is a clean racer. We get along great together, and you know, he gives me some, I give him some. You know, it's what it's all about.
It's give and take, and that's the way it should be, right?
That's right. That's how it should be.
First career feature win. Who you want to thank tonight?
Oh man, you know I got so many people to thank. Craig Mishler, that's wife Crystal, Dan Bucky, Carol Bucky, right there. Waylon Orr, Ted Frederick, Carrie, Amanda Sue. I can't remember wrong with that. Yeah, Clay. Oh, yeah, my crew chief right here, Junior.
And Junior's got the Frisbee, too. Ain't that kind of funny?
Well, you know what was funny about it? When I threw it to him, he threw it back at me. I don't want that.
Well, it was good luck. Maybe you should throw stuff at him more often.
I ought to do that.
All right.
If I forgot anybody, I apologize. Randy Smith, I know Sue's not with us anymore, but she was still part of this. Thanks for the great track. Thanks for, you know, this compact race, our compacts. And thanks to these fans. Without them, it wouldn't be not possible.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Thank you. I will.
Your winner, winning one for Dad in Victory Lane, Delmer Allen Clark.
Well, I said, I'm not real sure how often I'm going to be here this year.
This fucking crank motor in a 4-barrel, it should have been faster.
What is this? How many models, sir?
Well, my other motor, I was surprised. What do you mean? I'm 2 days away. I can't. I got. I might call him.
Got two youngsters in the Jaybirds out there, the old veteran of the with about a half a car advantage. From Midvale, Ohio, 99.9 WTUC Big Z Sports, Tim Bickford of Parkway Ridgeway's PC car care creative close. It's also number 7. 31 is Tom Early, opening night feature winner. Richie taking the night off. His grandpa, Gallon Williams, hot lapped it. Sam Bingham going to drive it. Our compact driver here at Midvale Speedway, now running a big motor modified, getting the call to step into this number 21 for Colton Ridge. There's a cone down there on the wall as well. That's where we start the race. We want those drivers side by side when they come off of turn number 4. Going the outside lane, running second. 21 of Mayo. Top rank for San Top rank for 21 seemed like it just lost power. Come on, starting on the pole, the number 4 is Tim Scott, all the way 2 hours away from Sunbury, Ohio, the Scott Racing sponsor. Number 4, the 84 Rich Schweitzer, is undefeated so far in features this year. Being able to make the call that 14 Smith, spot a bearing in that and also not being raced. For Mr. Smith, Rich Schweitzer, your race leader, Scott runs second, Walker third, Morris fourth, and Treasure fifth. Red band meter in the 27 on the outside of row number 2. The 15 is Kyle Finlayson. The 36 is Jeffrey Orr. 24, your fastest qualifier, Brent Schreffler. Larry Ennis Jr., Zach Coker on the front row. 17X is Bobby Gaynor from Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. The 8 is Noah Patterson. The 19 is Clayton Oliver. The 69 is Dan Bucky. 18 is Tim Frederick. And the 38 is Brandon France. Right up to the middle. Clayton Oliver was up to the third spot. Aaron and Forrest out for the race. Clayton Oliver with a good 3-wide center move. Alan Clark falls back. Now Oliver to the other race. Aaron is number 3. Bucky up to the second spot, and Bucky sideways in the first 1 and 2. Aaron back down back on the bottom, but Alan get there, and here comes the third. He has normally unstopping, alongside. The 95 is Lisa Moore. The number 3 is Jesse Patterson. The 99 is Ryan Shredmore. The 55 is Tyler 9. The 40 is Little Animal, Tyler Eichel. And the 41 is Scott Espinchi. Number 1 is Phil Patterson, flying by on the outside. Patterson third, Gary Newsom. comes Lisa Moore. Field about a half a lap from green. And Bucky, Tim Frederick. Brandon France, Mike McDonald, Larry Dennis Jr., Clayton Oliver, your front six. sitting in the stands cheering for your driver. Sam Bingham, Gary Rubengarter on the front row. After we get a lap in and get a caution, they will choose their lanes. Rubengarter with him on the outside. Here comes Bingham on the bottom. And the 77 of Moss. Green, 3 laps. So Gary Rubengarter and Larry Smith, right at the halfway point, 10 seconds. something broke on the right front of 31 at Tom early. Mike Martin bypassed Bingham, moved up to the 4 spot. Bingham back to 5th, then Passwater's Jr., Passwater's Senior, and Bear Swartz. Off turn number 4, Smith and Long. Position, Tom Stankiewicz, Bob Snyder Jr., the front 4, Brian Smith, Ryan Tedesco, Alex Rosenberry, Tom the Animal Eichel. 22 is the coat man, Cody J. Bird, the 33 is Albert Francis, 21 Gage J. Bird. So 5 laps complete, 25 to go. We'll try it again. 45 of Mac Gribble. 701 of Ryan Tedesco. Max Gribble, Dave Martin, Gage Jaybird, and Albert Francis rounding out your field. You get the green. This time around 8 laps complete. Colt Walker, the 95 of Michael Barnes, the 36 of Tim Frederick. Who's going to visit a mini truck feature winner in Victory Lane? Kids, hopefully you got your frisbees out and ready. Go on the bottom, six down up the racetrack, also going to have to be off for turn number 2. Turn number 2 went to the second spot. Whites are looking to the outside. Outside. Number 1. On turn number 2. White turn there. White Second spot,